This will be all right. Hello, 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 hello. Can I have your attention, please? We want to welcome all of you here this evening. Thank you for making the trek all the way out here to Eagle Mountain, or all the way in here to Eagle Mountain. My name is Brett Wright. I want to excuse Mayor Westmoreland, who's not able to be with us this evening, and so I'm acting as Mayor Pro Tem. Just want to thank our staff for putting this together, and just invite each of you to grab a sandwich and a drink as you find time to do that, as you'd like to do that as you're discussing the road connectivity at your tables. So just we're grateful for all of that, all of those who have come and participated and helped make this possible. So we'll call this meeting to order October 29th at about 6:05 p.m. And we're going to turn the time over to Kirby Sneidman with Avenue Consultants, and we'll let him take over. Excuse me, before we do that, let's do introductions. Let's just have everybody quickly introduce themselves. I'm Brett Wright, council member, Eagle Mountain. Let's start at the red table and we'll move that way. Evan, go ahead. Welcome. Welcome, Doug. Last but not least, Audrey, thank you. Welcome to each of you. Let's go ahead and turn the time over then to Kirby, who will take over and show us a presentation, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Let's first take a little time to go grab some food, sit back down, get settled. So you got 5 minutes, go grab some food, and then it's okay to eat for the first part of the presentation, but give you a chance to get some of that good food.
Oh, we got you. We got your back. We're in this together. Good to see you again.
You're good, you're good. How many of y'all go to a movie theater where you eat while you watch the movie? Anybody been to one of those? The best way to watch a movie is with food. So just think of this as, the first part of this is just entertainment while you're eating. I want to say thank you to Saratoga Eagle Mountain for providing the food. Thank you very much, staff and the city. Appreciate it a lot. Thanks. And we appreciate also Eagle Mountain making the space, the city recorders getting the public notice out. We noticed this as a public meeting. It's a council workshop, but we noticed it so we didn't have to ask your councils to send representatives. We wanted all the council members here that wanted to come, open invitation. So that's why we noticed it in all 4 of the cities and towns to make sure everybody could come. And we also got some in public here, so that's great. Today, we're going to talk about the project that we've been working on for the last 9 months. And part of that is about the major challenges facing West Utah County. Now, not all of those major challenges. We'll talk about the ones we focus in on. And then we're going to have a discussion amongst each other about the recommendations that we as staff and project team have developed. We've got 20 recommendations, but we're coming to you to say yes, no, ideas. And we'll talk a little more about that. And then finally we'll end with some next steps about how we're going to take your feedback today along with the work that we've done and put that into an action plan for the region that has funding. I'll pass it over to Wayne to introduce. I got the. If I call you your last name, I'm sorry. You call me. I put Kirby here, but it's not my last name. I'll pass it over to Dan to give you an introduction and to explain why we're even doing this project. Dan?
Thanks. So yeah, once again, Dan Wayne, Community Planning Manager with MAG. So you have me to either thank or blame for being here tonight. But I sincerely thank you for your time and your dedication to your communities and to the region. So glad to be a part of this project, and we funded it through MAG's Technical Assistance to Government, or TAG program, and looking forward to, with your input, wrapping this up. Think about, in your mind, what are the biggest, most stubborn, vexing issues that you have as a community, and think about your most audacious goals that you have as a community, the ones that you're having a hard time making progress towards. That's the kind of stuff that we're interested in. The goal of this effort is to queue up cities in the West County to compete for technical assistance funds, to do plans and studies and anything else that's needed along those lines, and also for Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP, funding for planning and the construction of projects to address what those big stubborn issues and audacious goals that you have as a community. These types of problems and opportunities, they're usually not accomplished by one effort, by one community. They usually, you bite them off in a number of pieces over time, collectively together, to address these challenges. And so that's what we're hoping to do with this effort. The consultant team that we hired for this effort has done a great job listening to staff and to the community, researching your adopted plans and other documents that you have at the city level, and distilling everything that they've learned into a short list of things that we think are those types of issues and opportunities, goals that you have as a community. What we need from you tonight is to validate that and to add to it, to clarify, to amend that as you see fit, based on your knowledge of your communities and the West County region. The final deliverable out of this effort is going to be a packaged set of recommended plans and studies, and they're not completely written out, but they're there for you to use as a template for applying for funds for MAG, and to kind of systematically work through all of these questions and challenges to get closer and closer and closer to implementing these big projects and ambitious goals that you've had trouble making progress towards. So that's a quick summary of the purpose of the project, and looking forward to the team kind of working with you to facilitate a discussion of everything that we've developed so far, and to make sure that we got it right and that we have a clear path moving forward. So with that, I'll turn it back over.
Thank you, Dan. Before I talk specifically about this project, let me just introduce myself a little bit more, maybe to lend some credibility. I'm a city planner. That's how I see myself, city and transportation planner. And my love for community started when I was very young. I grew up in East Texas on the San Jacinto River. And when I was, about, 12, in the mid-90s, there was a huge stationary weather front in our part of East Texas. And it just dropped more rain than we had ever saw, the watershed of the San Jacinto. And the river went, in the course of half a day, it rose up 40 feet. And when I first came to Utah, someone said, "Oh, that's the Provo River." I thought, "Oh, that's funny. That's not." The river I grew up on is about a half a mile across. So imagine a half a mile across river that's 40 feet high, and it just devastated the area. Luckily, we were in a higher area, so we only had a little bit of damage. But most of our community that I grew up in was just everybody was affected, and most people's homes were flooded. I went out with my dad, and our church called us together the very next day, which just happened to be a Sunday. And instead of going to the regular church meeting, we were told to dress in work clothes, and we came together, and we went out into the community and just helped people cut sheetrock, move waste, get mud out, all the things that would make the damage even worse. I just remember as a boy, wow, I had never seen community come together so strongly, and it impacted me for years after that. Just that idea that people could come together and help each other out. There's something, and it didn't come out of nowhere. There's an organization there. I saw the church part of the city play a part in that organization as well, getting other groups organized. And that started a love for community that I've always had. I've spent half of my time as a consultant, but the other half, I worked on the public side. I was a city planner, a planning director. I was a city planner in Orem, and I learned a really valuable lesson in Orem. When I was there, we were doing the State Street Master Plan. And as staff, we were putting this plan together for the council to ultimately vote for. And we were essentially had the idea of, well, instead of just one downtown area, why don't we have these downtown TOD zones the future transit could maybe have stops on? So we proposed 5. And with staff, I looked at these and I said, hey, 5 of these, one of these is as big as Sugar House. Are we sure we want 5 of these on State Street? And what I was told by the head honcho was, well, we've got a council that supports us now, so it's now or never. We got to get all these adopted. I said, okay, but we could easily see a change in council and a change in sentiment, maybe even a reaction to how much zoning, how much change we're doing in the community. And well, we did get unanimous council support for that plan, but guess what happened? If any of you have been following things in Orem, a totally different council came in and took the plan away, put a moratorium on all growth along State Street. It was something I saw it a little bit, but after that, really learned that lesson that, you know, these plans that we put together, they're ultimately owned by the city and their representatives, the city council. And while we want to be ambitious in our plans, there's a balance between being ambitious in the planning effort, but being realistic about the challenges and what can be accomplished. And so while today we're talking a lot about plans, we're not talking immediately about projects, specific things that you want to see done. We're talking about that planning process, which is vital for the long-term vision. And in all the work that we've been doing and reviewing your adopted plans, we're not trying to push any agenda on you. What we're really saying about this plan is, how can you as a region come together on the things you agree on, create a list of priority plans, projects, that then you have an action plan for MAG to help you with, as Dan was saying. So think about these questions as we talk a little bit more. If you've reviewed your plans that are adopted, do you know if they align with the plans? You know, you might have, if you're Eagle Mountain or Saratoga Springs, you might have a dozen plans that are adopted. If you're the town, maybe you only have a few. But are you sure that those plans align amongst each other? And do you know if those plans, the one for Saratoga Springs and the one for Fairfield, where those talk about the areas like your annexation areas, are those aligned? Do they agree? Do they have the same vision on the areas that interact? How can, as a region, how can we improve that coordination between each other so our plans do align, we speak with a stronger voice as a region? How can we do that? Be thinking about that. This is the steps of the plan we took. First part of this whole process, these last several months, was to review your adopted plans. Again, we didn't come with ideas from MAG or ideas from the state. We took your plans and we reviewed them to answer the questions that I just asked. How well did they align? Where could they align better? How could we be better aligned? And we identified where they don't and where there are opportunities to have better alignment, both internally, your city's plans internally, your city's plans with the other cities here in this region, and also your plans with the region's plans, with UDOT, UTA, the state. And then we worked with staff to develop a list of recommendations of how we could be better aligned. This is just real quick the schedule we followed, working since last winter. This is the last step. We wanted to come to the city council. This is where we are right now, in the city council work session meeting, bring all these councils together. By the way, you as a region, y'all are doing a great job already of working together. You meet regularly to have joint council meetings. Your staff meet multiple times a year, coordinate with each other. So we're building on something that's already there. There's some good coordination. Now, this is where we see that we're at. So we're not coming here as the teacher saying, okay, time to say yes to the plan we put together. No. Well, we're coming here to say, hey, we did our homework, so you guys can look over our shoulder and tell us if we got the right answers. That's our perspective at this meeting. We want to bring you these recommendations and have you help us to prioritize, to develop these recommendations out a little bit more. Now, what you'll notice is that we're focused in this plan, and these recommendations are focused on transportation and land use. And there's a strong connection between the two. So while I know affordable housing is a really big issue in this region and all the regions of Utah, and I know there are some other really big issues like water, while we did talk about those as part of the planning process, as part of this plan's process, what we're focused on for these recommendations are transportation and land use. And why is that? Because MAG's role is to help with regional transportation planning. And so our queuing up projects with your help are projects they can fund are related to transportation and land use, not necessarily every challenge you're doing. So let me talk about the four major challenges. We took all the recommendations we worked on and lots of issues, we fit those into 4 buckets. 4 issues related to transportation and land use that we feel like we can have a good discussion with you about and make some good headway in a regional planning process. The first is east-west congestion. I don't need,
Not a problem.
I don't need to go into depth in any of these. You're more familiar than I am with these. But I will point out some interesting things. if you're looking at this map, what you're seeing is clear vision data. We have really good data from companies that aggregate cell phone data, and whenever you're moving, this data is captured. Now, it's private information, but companies can aggregate the data together, and then they can give us a picture of, hey, where are people moving? Where are they shopping? Evan, Eagle Mountain Economic Development Director previously, right, in that role. Now, Assistant City Manager? Oh, Legislative Affairs Director. Well, I'm sure he's seeing some of this data because there's some real interesting use for this for like where people shop. But in a transportation context, you can see where people are moving. We've had this data for about 10 years now. So this is 2019. And if you can see, the red is the congestion in the region in 2019. This is 2025. We've seen about a 50% increase in congestion on your major roadways in the last 5 years. So, a couple things to know. Everywhere in the state, everywhere, north, south, east, west, there's not an area of Utah that has seen congestion decrease. However, your increase in congestion is above others. It's well above the average. Okay? Now, why do we really care about east-west congestion? Yeah, it's annoying, but why do we care about it? Because addressing east-west mobility issues improves access to jobs, education, services, and reduces the travel burden for your residents. It has a big impact to life. It's not just annoying to be in traffic. That's time and effort and money spent by your residents. And solving that problem directly benefits you. Let's talk about another major challenge. Also, you notice I'm not talking about the recommendations yet. We're going to get there. I'm just setting the stage with the problem. So you're going to get a little depressed for a few minutes, but then don't worry. We're going to get to some problem solving. Next problem, next major challenge. We have differing data, projections, resources. We're not all looking to the same page. Now, this is a very complex issue, and I don't want to spend too much time. But I will just say, if you look at these four, we just selected these four, but there are many examples we could use. The solid lines are the regional plan coming from MAG population projections. And then the dotted lines are your city's plans. Eagle Mountain and Fairfield are currently updating their general plan. That latest information is not in your projections, so we're losing regional rise. But you can see there's a discrepancy. And for some cities, we're talking about tens of thousands of people difference in what we're planning for. Now, why is that? Well, there's many reasons, but let me just point out one. The state has a very well-defined system for making projections. The state projects the total growth in Utah. Then they tell the counties, this is how much growth we're going to give you, future growth. And then the counties, the MPOs like MAG have to take the constrained number that they've been given by the state, they have to portion it to the different places. And they do that with the real estate model, they do it with talking with your staff, looking at your adopted plans, they look at your zoning, how are things zoned, how quickly could the properties change and be developed. It's a very complex model that they use. It's time tested, it's good. As you can see, it's not overnight, and it doesn't line up necessarily with the city's plans. The city's plans haven't even been right. Your own projections of your population in some cases have been off by tens of thousands.
So those cities, can we push back at the state and limit growth?
That's a
Match their numbers?
That's a recommendation in here that you'll see. Why does it matter? Because if we're working off of different numbers and data sets, we're less likely to make good shared decisions. So to have accurate forecasting and accurate planning, we need to have an improved process for sharing the same data, for using the same data. Okay, next major challenge. Transportation land use disconnection. What you're looking at here is land use that has been pulled from each city and then put together in a similar kind of classification so you can kind of see it. And then long-range plans laid out as well. That's not too particularly interesting, but just let me say as a topic, there were many specific examples we could point to, and I'll point to one without naming any city or development. transportation planning that we're doing and the land use that we're planning for. We're providing for big ranges. And then why does it matter? Because when you can have a good idea of what you know that land is and what you want it to be, through a planning process, through a public, engaging the public process, then you have a better idea of how to plan for the infrastructure needed for that. It's not just enough to say, hey, we're growing, and we're going to be double the population in 20 years. Okay, but where is that population going to go? How is the land being developed? And if you don't have that figured out as well, or it's not coordinated well, then there's a big missed opportunity in planning for the infrastructure specifically to get to that land use. Finally, the influence of West Utah County is not congruent with its role, the amount of growth that's out here. That's something we heard again and again, is, hey, does the state know that we're growing like crazy out here? Do they realize how many people are coming out here? And not just anybody, but this is a great place to come if you have a family, a home that you can afford. Now, we wanted to put that to the test, because we heard that a lot. Hey, we're not getting the resources we need. UDOT does a very, very good job of tracking all the capital investment, all the capital spending that we do, down to small intersection improvements all the way to big overall improvements. So what we did is we took the population of this region, Eagle Mountain, Saratoga Springs, Fairfield, and Cedar Fort, and we mapped it over time, including the population that will grow over the next 5 years. So
Which
that's the
numbers
orange
did
line.
you use? The wrong ones or the ones that came from our cities?
We use the city numbers. And that, what you can see is that in 2005, well, it's pretty accurate only 5 years out. The farther you go out, the harder it is to project population. But 2005, West Utah County was between 1% and 2% of the state's population. And by 2030, it'll be 4% of the state's population. But you might ask, are we getting that investment in transportation? What you can see is that transportation investment is kind of lumpy. It comes in stages. But when Pioneer Crossing was built, the state invested $280 million in that infrastructure. That boosted the amount of spending up until that point, in 2009. All the cumulative spending represented about 8%, whereas you only had about 2% of the population in that area. What I'm saying is we did this analysis and you are getting resources that match to your population, but there's a question. Is that a fair way to divvy up the transportation investment resources, infrastructure resources? Maybe there's an argument for we're fast-growing communities, if we're a growth community. You know, the state spends money reconstructing roads that are very bad condition, where they become unsafe, or other issues, or they degrade to point you can't fix the root cause. To give you an example, there are cities in central Salt Lake County, they're not growing very fast, but they have roads that need to be reconstructed because they're degraded beyond their useful life. So the state has to make these decisions, but there's a good argument to say, maybe we should be spending more here because it's a growth area. When West Utah County speaks with a unified voice, when we have the same priorities and we agree, regional and state investments will better reflect the area's shared priorities. So can you fight for more resources? Can you make the argument that you should be getting more? You certainly can. How do you do that? You do it with a shared voice, with shared priorities. If you come together as 4 councils and you coordinate and you say, this is what it's really important, you have a higher likelihood of getting it. Is the point. So with that said, and introducing these 4 challenges, let me pass it over to Christy to start talking about the recommendations to build.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Kirby. Can y'all hear me? Yeah? Okay, great. You don't just, or tell me to speak up. Before we begin talking about the recommendations, though, I just want to do a quick example of some regional planning. How many of you have been up to the Heber Valley recently? Okay, what do you think of when you're up there? Drop it, 'cause this is crazy. You got it?
It really is on
since 2017, they've approved 7,223 units. I've done that in a year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even in the same ballpark.
Yeah, you guys have, I mean, they're growing fast as a percentage wise, it's comparable to you, you are growing so much more in terms of sheer numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm adding more cars in a month than they have in a year.
Yep.
And that's without Eagle Mountain's traffic.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true. You guys have hover cars.
But if you talk to any one of the residents there, they're feeling the pain of growth and change, it feels rapid, granted it's a much smaller area. But I think the point is they've worked hard to identify common goals, and that gives them the ability to really address needs and realize shared hopes for the future as they move forward. So that's kind of the reason to bring that project up. But moving into your neck of the woods, we've got these major challenges that Kirby outlined briefly, and we're going to be talking amongst these tables. We're all assigned a table, and you're going to have an opportunity in your table to talk about major reasons for the challenges, and we've got suggested major reasons that we've learned from your staff to really understand. We want you to look at those and say, are those really the reasons why we have these challenges? And then we have recommendations that your staff will work really hard on, and we want to reality check those, see what you think of those, what your priorities are when you look at those, and get your feel for those recommendations and what your priorities are when you look at them. So this is what we're going to do. Each table will focus on one major challenge. You'll be assigned a challenge. They're coming out now on posters. And before you begin, assign a facilitator at your table and a speaker. So a facilitator is going to guide the table discussion and help fill in these posters. We have stickies with reasons for this challenge and recommendations to address that challenge. And you can put those stickies in various places on the posters, whether it's a high priority thing or a low priority thing. You'll be able to work on that together. The facilitator will help you do that. And then the speaker, at the end of the time at your table, will guide a group discussion with this larger group, outlining the challenge, the reasons for the challenge, and what you feel are the priorities that we need to tackle as we address the issues. So as you do this exercise, just remember this. The things that you see on the stickies, the stickers, you can agree with them, you can disagree, you can edit, add to, subtract. It's up to you. These are things that our staff has come up with. We just want to make sure that we're on the right track. Feel free to course correct. And then it's really helpful to remember that the input you received tonight will help us prioritize those recommendations that enter the action plan. And the action plan will lead to funded projects. And that's where we can hopefully hit the ground running on things together. So just to note on the recommendations, Kirby kind of mentioned this before, but this project is really focusing on planning and organizational improvements that will lead to future infrastructure projects. So, for example, one of the recommendations is, in coordination with UDOT, complete a north-south corridor study connecting West Utah County to Tooele and Juab counties, rather than build a north-south corridor at this location and by this time. So it's helping us identify the groundwork that needs to be laid before we can see work on the ground happen. That's the bulk of those recommendations. So with that, you see the stickers, you see your assignments here at each table, and go ahead and spend some time looking at those reasons that are on your stickers, more important reasons to the left, less important reasons to the right, and then transition to recommendations, more important to the left, less important recommendations to the right. Again, assign a facilitator and a speaker, and we'll convene in maybe 20 minutes or so. Thanks so much.
Christy, can I add something real quick?
Absolutely.
Before you get started, real quick, I'm going to give you a few minutes before you actually see the recommendations. So right now, just think about the reasons. And on the board, think about where you're putting those reasons on the board. Which reasons do you think really impact this issue? And which reasons do you think are less important? And that'll help you think through the recommendations next.
Well, do you want Karen to go first?
It's not a competition, but if it was, the orange team would be winning. They've got their reasons up. Just a time check. We've spent about 10 minutes, so it's a good time to get ready for those recommendations. Once you've got all your reasons up, I'll give you your recommendations. Everybody, we got 5 more minutes, and then we're going to go to a big group discussion.
All right, please wrap up your conversations, and we're going to get started with sharing ideas. I was just with my grandkids a couple days ago, and the mom was really good at being like, eyes up here, eyes up here. That's not working at all. All right, who's ready to talk and share with everybody else? I could tell some really bad dad jokes.
I know it's hard. We want to continue the conversation you're having. We want to continue it with the larger group. Thank you.
Yes. Kirby, thanks for your loud voice. Appreciate it. Let's pick on the folks in the back. Who's going to speak for that group? The blue, Team Blue. Who's our speaker? All right, Councilmember Clark. And we're going to try to stay with 5 minutes so we can be done at 7:30, okay? Oh, you're right. All right, let's go with Orange Group.
Orange, here's your speaker over here. Yes. You don't have to read all of them, but give us some big. Am I reading these recommendations or am I reading these? Well, just take 1 or 2 of the big ones and tell us about why you thought that.
The data is bad, and because the data is bad, all of the recommendations that are being given to us are false information. So the frustration between our 4 municipalities and Lehigh, and we've been talking for the last 2 years, is they're giving recommendations based on data that doesn't actually match the current situation. So that's priority number 1. They have to get the data done.
Yeah, you
about some recommendations? Yeah.
Run through your recommendations that you said.
Improve the data, we said evaluate the MAG projects with funding allocation by impact, not who sits on the board, and what the size of their population is.
Okay. Thank you. Any comments? Things you want to add?
I think pretty much that's probably how we all talk.
Okay.
On every single table.
Lot of,
That was pretty much our conversation.
lot of common ground.
Well,
Yeah.
one other thing I want to say is,
Yeah.
stop doing these and start acting on them. We've had 5 of these meetings where we sat down and drawn on maps. Stephen and I were talking about this, and we say, oh, that's great, we're going to come in and have these conversations, and then nothing happens with it. So we draw on the map, we throw it away, we come back and we do this again in 6 to 8 months. We need you guys to actually do something with this data that's meaningful out here, or what's the purpose of continuing to have these meetings?
Yeah.
Can I say one thing to add to that, because that's not our conversation here, is that we have these move forward, but we're not moving forward, in fact, we actually are moving backwards.
Yes.
We have these meetings and we're like, okay, this is it, we're moving forward, but then something else gets canceled, or we lose funding for something, or something else, we don't get something else. It's happened, we're moving backward, and that's, yeah, like, and that's not okay. And the same thing I was just saying, that's why I didn't put that, I mean, Doug just said, wait, were they speaking with us at our table?
When you're saying the same thing, it's pretty obvious that that's the problem.
Yeah. That's hard. And
It's frustrating to
yeah.
our citizens, it's frustrating to us because we're saying, we're advocating for these things, we're doing things that we're supposed to be doing at these organizations, and largely we're being ignored. That's the outcome. Regardless of what's happening, we're being ignored because other projects are being prioritized. Our projects are pushed 10, 15 years down the road, and we need them today to have an impact. Anybody who drove out here tonight knows how bad it is in the traffic. That
Yes.
problem needs to be solved today, but the road we're at, the 2 roads that would impact that, you have 10 years away.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So you hear that every day. Yeah.
Still growing exponentially.
Yeah.
The good news though is the governor has got a plan, we'll add 275,000 more homes, that'll solve our traffic.
All right. Let's move on to the yellow group up front here, east-west congestion, our favorite issue. Who's speaking on this one?
So I'm gonna start off with letter words and we'll.
There you go.
Just leave your shirt on this time.
Sounds like a story here.
I don't think I have to really say much. I mean, one of our major things at East to West is we run into Lehigh City
Yeah.
that doesn't agree with us. I think that's part of the issue. I think if they would have been alliance, I know Jim could probably testify to this. If we would have been more in concert with them, I think we would have more solutions.
We're fighting over the North Shore when all it does is move traffic to St. Jessica Point. It doesn't solve anything. We've got to get traffic south. We preserve the 9215 corridor south, just build the damn bridge.
And Saratoga Springs, we can do everything we can, and our citizens are still a bottleneck. But Eagle Mountain, yeah, everybody else.
Yeah. For sure.
We do have some transit, that's probably mid, and I know we're in talks with mass transit and stuff. And although I hope that's an option, it's, right now, the citizens still don't, that's a culture that I don't know how you. So that's one of it. And then recommendations, just get her done.
Yeah. What are your top ones there? Say the top 2
Over here?
on the recommendations. Yeah.
Bridge, yeah.
Bridge.
So the bridge that runs here, and once again, get in concert with it too, because you have so many people, so many organizations that are cities that don't agree on it, and they'll never have, or somebody has to come trump us all.
And there's an international airport across the lake, with only one access. To not feed a 1915 to an international airport is like saying we're gonna take Bangerter and I-80 away from the Salt Lake International Airport. We're gonna have one feeder.
Yeah. Nice
Build an
analogy.
international airport, let's get traffic to it.
Yeah. It's a growing airport.
And in Eagle Mountain, we're working to push the traffic over the mountain corridor instead of the freeway. We're just open there.
It's just that we can't get it.
So, and this is,
Brent,
I think
hey,
our flex lanes,
Uh-huh.
if it's so good, why is it the only second time we're doing it in 27 years? You know what I mean? I mean, that's my sentiment is, we're spending a lot of money and it's gonna be a year and some odd months before that's done. When we could have a good east to west, just, and I know it's very painful because there's, you know, you have to make some critical decisions. But to me, I hope I'm wrong on the flex lanes. I hope it works, but I'm still on the fence.
Very flexible.
I've seen flex lanes, but that's also not,
Yeah.
that's fun.
And as soon as it rains, you can't see the lines anyways. What do we want to talk about here? Do you want me to?
Is there any others that you want to highlight? Otherwise, we'll open it up a second and move on.
Yes, I want to highlight some.
Okay?
We need to widen Highway 73 from the Ranches Parkway, at least to the People Boulevard.
Amen.
Like, why is that not being discussed right now? This is insane. And then what is your corridor called? No, Mid Valley Road, it needs to be done, but Highway 73 needs to be widened a couple miles, like, when you get ready. It's a safety hazard, like, if we need to get out of this valley, heaven forbid a fire comes from the west side, we're not getting out, we're dying. And the truck traffic, how many stoplights do we need to put up Highway 73 and have stoplight after stoplight? And it's amazing to me that we can go up Spanish Fork Canyon and you can go all the way to Wellington and not get one stoplight. How does this happen? We have a major road and we've got stoplight after stoplight after stoplight, and you've got semis that are going heavy, going up a hill, and so they stop and then you're stuck behind them.
And Cedar Ford and Fairfield really deal with that impact almost singularly, right? Because even not a little bit of it.
No, I mean, it bottlenecks down at the ranches. I mean, you're stuck. It goes all the way down to the Mountain View corridor. And why?
They also need to add another lane from the boulevard to, so that's 2 lanes all the way to reduce the head.
So,
How many we have this year?
But why is this not being
it's actually for the
discussed?
2100 build out though, right?
Only the ranches.
All the way up? Only the
Just to the ranches, and so it bottlenecks down to a 2-lane highway.
It stops at the ranches.
And the date, like, was pushed out. Yeah, 29.
Looks like 29.
But also, people are losing their jobs because they're late to work constantly.
Yeah.
Because if there's an accident, you are not getting there. And if you guys, you know,
My boss thinks I'm lying.
yeah, well, when it takes you 2 hours to work.
One light goes out and it shuts down everything for 3 hours. That's ridiculous.
I guess I've got a related confession. I was late to work tonight for the same reason.
Everybody is. It
So.
should not take you
And
an hour.
and here's the problem, when northern Utah County has absorbed 43% of the growth in the last year, and we haven't seen 43% of the state funding come our way for transportation projects, the issue is that we're just continuing to fall further and further, and so the governor's objective to produce affordable housing is not functioning, because people don't want to live here anymore. The traffic has become such a problem that we have people leaving and they're not coming back. And yet they continue to push the units west of the lake. And the issue that creates is that we're gonna have houses that are gonna become ghost towns because nobody is gonna want to live here.
Yeah, and I was going to say to build on that, we can't, it's hard to get companies to come out here because the traffic is so bad. So
Yeah.
we have got to fix that road and open up the kink in the hose, get some businesses out here to turn the traffic around. Like, it's insane that all these people have to drive into another valley to even get a job that's worth living out there for. And it needs some serious attention, and nobody is pushing that road to be widened, and it needs to be done now.
It's probably a good, yeah, you are. It's probably a good transition to Team Blue over here. Transportation and land use disconnect.
So, for sure, one of the biggest issues that we have is inaccurate data, but I think all of us agree on that. The other thing that creates a problem between transportation and land use disconnection is the fact that the state keeps changing the rules. So we plan for one thing, and then all of a sudden ADUs and everything else get lumped into that, or zoning laws change, and they're the ones that are contributing to the problem. Because we're doing good planning, but when it changes every year,
Okay, thank you. Let's approach the last, oh, one more comment?
One thought,
Yeah.
as Melissa was talking, something that was not really being considered, or something that I haven't heard in these discussions yet, is that new growth costs more. So infrastructure and development for new growth is significantly more expensive than infrastructure for infill development in other cities. So when we're talking about our share of growth, we need a lot more resources proportionate to our growth as well. So we're going fast, but we also need more money and more infrastructure and, you know, all those resources. So it's not just even a proportionate share of the state's growth, it's the cost of new development. I know there's a lot of legislature, there's a lot of new bills that are gonna be coming to address this next year. We don't know if they're gonna pass, and I don't know what that looks like, if that's going to serve us, but that's something that I think we need to put in there somewhere. That the cost of infrastructure development is significantly more.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And especially for Cedar Fort and Fairfield, fire is a big thing. It's gonna be a huge limiting factor for them in economic development unless that gets figured out, so.
Yeah, yeah. Which board do you think that best fits on? Maybe data? Yeah. Yeah, maybe your team can add a little point about that at the end.
Everybody's talking about ours, it's all about the data, right? So everything that we talked about, which is great. Our biggest thing over here was no single source database with no structured development population data. I don't know why in the world we can't put together as a county, as a state, like, have the same data. We all have different data every single time we get together. It's the craziest thing. I mean, it's 2025, we're not back in whatever, 1990, and we don't have access to all the data that we need. That's crazy. That was because most people aren't over there. Some of the things to be able to help it, operate to create shared databases related to population growth and new development. Why? It's just mind-boggling that's not happening already, right? Reevaluate the state system for, population growth, these look very sleepy. Population growth, it's currently constrained by the county. So maybe as us, we need to go and make a bigger deal, right? Because we do have a bigger voice now. I think we're using it really well, but we need a bigger voice. So with that, comes to the data. And then also, a lot of our conversation was also, how do you staff? Do you have staff to be able to, like, hey, we have a golden liquid that's just for this North Utah County growth. Obviously, our towns can't do that, but do we hire somebody that can do it for all of us? People for, we have service for Ed Berkel. There's someone dedicated to this. Huge amounts understaffed, we're understaffed. I mean, they don't have the staff in the towns, right? So can we come together as a group and do that as an option? So that was a recommendation that they gave us. We thought that was actually really good. Something like that. So anyway, you guys talk about the same stuff, but again, somewhere, somehow, we need to get it together. Say, why is the data different? It doesn't make any sense why it's different. We have access to all the states, the same stuff, so. That was us, again, the same stuff that we want to talk about. I think the problem is every single meeting we've ever had like this, we tell them that the data's wrong, and yet we keep getting. And then it comes back to center report with like, today's data is the worst data we've seen yet. Like, so that's where I'm like, what's that gonna mean? I just feel like where's the disconnect? Yeah. There should be disconnect.
Yeah.
It's not unless we're trying to. Yeah.
You're not alone. I hear this comment all over the state.
I think it's
Yeah.
magnified by the fact that we have a huge land mass and we have a bazillion people here. So when you talk about Heber City, they're like 9 square miles.
Mm-hmm.
We can fit 11 of them in our, not 11. 8 of them in our city.
Yeah.
And the same thing, Vineyard, you could fit 13 of them in our city. So when we talk about like, you're hearing it everywhere, what you're hearing in other places on a way smaller scale than what we're doing here in Monster.
Yeah, huge amounts of growth here. I think I'm turning it over to you, Kirby. Is that right?
Yes. Just a wrap-up slide. First, thank you again for your time in this process. This process was initiated by MAG with very real next step outcomes. expecting that recommendations from this will go into the MagTac program as applications for projects. So, like I said at the beginning, unfortunately, this is not the meeting where we say, okay, we're gonna put this infrastructure right here, right now. But this is an opportunity for us to be better aligned, better coordinated, working together as a region so that our voices are heard.
I just got this thought.
Sure.
I want to make sure I say it. Why not solicit the correct information from the cities? We've identified to you, your data's wrong. And then do a comparative. The data you have with the data that we believe is correct. And then you can see the disparity between the two and why we're not aligned. That's probably the first conversation. If you take all the maps that you've created based on the data that you have, and then you take the data that we believe is the correct data and do the same thing, it's gonna look vastly different. That, for a regional organization like MAG, for a state organization like UDOT, you should see this is what the problem is. We're operating on two different data sets. Our data is going to be right, yours isn't. That's always gonna be the case. The state or the county are operating on the data. So, I mean, if you're talking about how do we fix the problem, let's admit the problem and take the data that you've been given from the state, the census, whatever it is, take the same data from the Eagle Mountain, Saratoga Springs, Fairfield, and Cedar Fort, and run your same project, show your transportation plans, and let's see how far off you actually are. That's probably the beginning point.
That's very important. We're listening to that. So next steps with this process is we're gonna take these recommendations, we're gonna take the prioritization that you've done with those, any that you said no or change or modify. We're gonna take all this input today and work this into an action plan that will deliver to each of the city towns. From this action plan, there'll be some very good projects that we can grant application is submitted by the city to this Are we being realistic? Do you think we can solve every single problem we've been in? No. But can we move the needle? Can we be better regional coordinated? That's the focus of what MAC does as a regional transportation organization. And they want to do a better job. If anything, you can walk away from this meeting with some appreciation. MAC wanted to do this, initiated this plan so that we could all come together. We've been working with your staff for 9 months, some of your town representatives throughout the month. We're trying to do better. And anything, don't agree with everything we did today, please appreciate that we're trying to give you an opportunity to be better. With that, I'll end it.
Can I ask you a quick question about what Rich said? So why, I guess because you're mad, are you required to use the data from the state and the county? Like you have to use that data when you're doing your projects? Like, maybe some of those answers, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, well, give me one specific example. Point to one source of data. that's-
Population data is incorrect.
Can you read up the?
Which one?
Both cities,
Okay,
you're too low.
so that is an issue that we identified already. Now, what you're not seeing is all the analysis we've done. We couldn't talk about every single detail. We know that that problem exists. The reason for it is when the state, like I explained, the state has a process that they apportion population. So they say to MAC, you can only have this much growth in your county. And MAG and Wasatch Front, or Sullivan County, and Boone County, they have a model that they've created that they've used that says, okay, state has said we can only put this much growth in the county. We've got to divide that up among all the cities. And yes, most of that growth in Utah County is North County. Most of it is. And even then, it doesn't fit, your numbers are unconstrained. No one's coming to you and saying, hey, think about, you're looking at the next 20 years, you can't go above this. No one's telling you that. So you do an unconstrained number. Now, these decisions, like you're looking out maybe 30, 40 years, states, with the way the MPO system is, they only look out 20 years. So they're not looking 40, 60 years. So they're not gonna have the same data, they don't have the same process. One of our recommendations was, they should. There should be a more cohesive process. When you do population projections, by the way, you're in Iran, your own plans contradict each other. Now, why is that? Because some plans are from 1 year, and then they do the plan again the next year. Impact fee study, they were different calculation, because they were looking at it census based, household based. So I could point to Eagle Mountain, 3 different plans that have 3 different projections.
We agree.
Even as a city, you're not getting it right. So, not to be critical, because brings us the same problem. The issue that we pointed to, it's not our numbers, it's not our data, we're not saying which one's right tonight, what we're saying is, hey, this is a problem. You're not all using the same data, and you're doing plans different years, you're not, even within yourself, and yes, there's a different system the state's using, how about we all come together and make a better system? To do that, we need to, that's one of the recommendations, is let's look at that together, solve that.
But the thing is, when
The drive, you can't do it tonight.
when we come to these meetings, we have legit population numbers, but you're coming with lower population numbers. So it's not even projected numbers necessarily. When we have these things, all in that the numbers are still off, even though we have exact numbers. So that, I guess that's the other thing too, even though we have exact numbers, everybody's still coming in, oh, well.
And it's a huge deal when you look at a chart like that, it's like, this many dollars have come into the area, and oh, you guys don't have it that bad. You actually have, you know, X amount percentage for your population. I understand the constraints that you guys have for certain things, but when we're having a very clear conversation about our influence and the growth we're taking on, those numbers should be accurate. I think that's what we're saying.
Kevin's trying to get in, let's get in.
I think to kind of second what Ruby is saying, like, I think the reason we're here is because we are agreeing that this is something. Right, so again, I think I've heard from multiple tables too, hey, we've done this meeting 5 times. I think you just said it again. Right, but I think that's what the end vision is for this project is, there's something that keeps falling into the same rut. Let's think outside the box and come up with an action plan that we can continue to work on together. Right, so I think, again, step 1 was to recognize, hey, we've got these issues.
Maybe one of
Let's
the
come
problems is
together.
that we can look at how to model it. Maybe the
Yeah.
problem is we keep using the same process, and that process is broken. One of the things, to the point about population, we have most of our citizens leaving to go to work. We're talking about other cities, they're moving within their cities on the roads already established, in most cases, to stay and work within those areas. Yes, we would have some traveling on I-15. Most of our cities are leaving. Both Mountain, Saratoga Springs, our towns for sure, are the leaving to go. So we leave the entire area to go to our jobs, which most cities are not doing.
Yeah, we definitely identified that as a primary reason. It's on the east-west congestion, it's on there.
So that becomes a modeling issue that's different than other cities, right? Even though it's not really a dollar or because we're leaving in such mass in the morning and coming back in mass.
Did you guys say that there's $1 million a year from
Can I-
that for planning?
Sorry, can I just say, we're gonna stick around if you wanna have these conversations, I don't wanna hold everybody so you have to go. Let's have a break, and those that need to go, we'll stay around and answer some of these questions, maybe let you look at some of the other boards. So again, just wanna say thank you very much for your time, we appreciate it very much, and we'll put together an action plan, and we'll get it back to your cities and towns so you can evaluate.
So let me just, I want to just coordinate a couple of things with the group, okay, in my capacity this evening. And I want to talk about the next meeting. I want to identify the next meeting for these 4 cities. How's March 31st sound to everyone? I mean, the next fifth Tuesday is December 30th. I don't think we want to do that. Or maybe you do, but is everyone okay with March 31st? Is there a city or town that would like to host?
Are you guys sure that we don't wanna have something right before the session or midway through the session?
You want to do it on the 30th of December?
Well, I'm not saying you do it on the 30th of December per se, but it feels like by March 30th, all the damage that they could do to us would be done. Like,
You want to get together December 30th? I'm fine with that. Give me a show of hands if you'll participate in the meeting on the 30th. Like 3 of us here, okay? Okay, so then let's do it on December 30th.
What about, not a 15th day? What, I mean, this isn't a Tuesday, it's Wednesday, so like, I'm just wondering.
Pick a date, Melissa, when do you want to do it? Make a suggestion.
So I think the legislative session starts, they say Martin Luther King Day, which is like 15th. Is there a benefit to us having something before the morning session? Does everybody feel like that would be a benefit?
All the bills will be posted by then.
But I'm gonna tell you, I don't think there's a benefit to doing December 30th when we know that there's gonna be new mayors, there's gonna be new council members. They probably need to be involved in that meeting. Well, they could be invited.
You'll know by then who's elected.
I think the second week in January, is anybody opposed to
fifth Tuesday, let's just do it on the December 30th. Let's plan that, let's plan for that. If there's some consternation or we run into some problems, we can always cancel it. 7 o'clock, which city wants to host?
I'm gonna host it in Fairfield at 5:30.
Excellent. You wanna do it here? Will you host it, Holly? You can do it in our facility, right? You can do it here in the city hall. Okay?
Or we got a building too.
Either way. You're welcome to do it here, okay? Just make sure that we're rotating that. And then I just, one other item of housekeeping, just business. I would like for our staff members, Saratoga Springs and Eagle Mountain specifically.
I'm totally fine, I was just joking. No, I know. Trying out there at 5:30.
It's not for the next few weeks, when I know the one about, like, if we'll have a place to have it. I mean, we have our own house by my
We'll plan for Mayor McKinney to lead the discussion, to preside at that meeting. And we'll do it here unless you notify her otherwise, okay?
So, I have been told that the Firefly Development hired a really lobbyist, to lobby for the little friendly fire. What about having them come with us in December, to see how can they do this and how they can help?
Do you want our lobbyist as well?
I mean, I think, why not? If they can go up to the legislative session and say, this is what we can do, would that help?
We can have that discussion, Holly, because we're actively engaged with clients and certainly reach out. If you
Or
think
is that
that's
an
a good
idea that
idea,
would help? I'm just thinking, how can we get some help out of the world?
Okay.
Because we need a lot.
We're doing that, but we can certainly touch base if you wanna bring them, we can do that, okay? And then I wanna coordinate, I wanna give our staff some assignments. So Ben, will you take this assignment for Eagle Mountain, please? And I don't know who you wanna give that assignment to in Saratoga, but I would like to find a time in the next month. The Eagle Mountain Saratoga Springs Council can get together and we can have the discussion about the school connectivity, about the Mid-Valley highway connection in Saratoga, and identify those issues in that area, and see if we can't come up with a cohesive plan that makes sense for everyone. Okay? You got a good plan. I know you have a good plan, Stephen, but we have a good plan, and they're not conjoined.
No, I mean, as far as
Instead of not going to the big company.
Gotcha. If you two will just coordinate that, that's what we'd like. Is there any other business that you guys want to conduct this evening? Anything else that needs to come before this group?
Can I just say something? Last legislative session, the Utah Valley Chamber put together a postcard, and it had some real good, like, fast facts. And they distributed it among the legislators to make the case for things that need to happen in Utah County. I don't know if that's something that our collective staff or elected officials can work on, but I feel like it would be good for us to pull facts together about our area with accurate population, traffic, trip numbers, those type of things, so that when we are visiting with our legislators, we have something like that. Is that something?
Will you head that up, Melissa, and just work with our staff to coordinate with the other councilmen? Did you hear what Mayor Cook said? He said, why don't we just invite our legislative representatives to come? They'll come. We can certainly do that.
We can have a New Year's Eve party.
Okay. I like it. Good work. That's why we have these meetings, because we get smart people that counterbalance those of us that don't know what to do, Wyatt.
We're gonna make those outgoing mayors show up at work until the very last minute. 48 hours.
Okay, I think we're gonna call it there. Thank you for coming, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you to Avenue Consultants. Thank you to MAG representatives, to everyone who's working hard to make this happen. I just think the more that we can have these conversations regionally and collectively, interact with one another, arm wrestle over what makes the most sense, we really are gonna be able to advance the ball as we work together to solve the problem before we ever present them to those who will help us succeed in the problem. Thank you. Good night. Stick around, have a conversation. I think we need to get together.
I think it aligns pretty good with what I've heard.
What's helpful? Do you want me to gather the Posters?
Yeah, I don't have to do anything, we'll get it.
Sure.
Get out of here.
I'm used to helping.
Yeah, just gather the boards up.
Yeah.
Took pictures of them all, but
Okay.
harder thing is taking down
The easels, I know.